Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, March 19th, 2013. Well, the situation in Cyprus continues to be bad. The country went on a collision course with the Eurozone this morning when they sent a draft bill in Parliament up to the higher house that would raise less revenue from the controversial deposit tax, which caused stock markets around the globe to fall yesterday. The less revenue number means that it's not going to match the revenue that they need to raise in order to get the European Union bailout. It's going to fall about 300 million euros short of the $5.8 billion revenue target. The reason the draft bill is a little lighter because the Cypriot Parliament has decided to give relief to small deposit holders who have less than 20,000 euros who are going to get no tax levy. Anybody else above that is going to continue to get a tax levy. Keep in mind that Cyprus has been used as an offshore tax deposit haven by people in countries who don't trust their own national banks, i.e. the Russians. My view is that if the Cypriots decide this is the way they need to raise revenue in order to get the bailout, they should be left alone to do as they desire. Well, here's an interesting piece of evidence. There was a $500 million or so payout regarding a 1990 theft of artwork from a museum in Boston. 13 pieces of artwork were stolen in 1990 from Boston's Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Well, it seems now as if the FBI may have some leads on that. They apparently are aware of the people who actually stole the artwork, and they're putting out a plea now, reminding people that the statute of limitations has expired in connection with the burglary, but asking for the return of the paintings. The paintings are actual masterpieces. They included the Vermeers, 3 Rembrandts, and also several others. The museum in Boston still hangs empty frames on the wall to remind people of the enormous loss and the hope that they will be recovered. If those paintings are recovered, in fact, this means that there will be reimbursement made to the syndicates at Lloyd's who covered the loss. And the Fukushima nuclear plant in central Japan at the Daiichi facility owned by Tokyo Electric Power Company, there has been a power shutdown. Apparently 4 fuel storage pools at the plant have been without fresh cooling water now for about 15 hours because of the power outage. Of course, this is the same plant that was decimated by the tsunami several years ago. Tokyo Electric Power says that they're working to restore electricity to the site in order to cool the reactors. There's a big drought in New Zealand. Probably you didn't know about it. The finance minister was on TV there this morning. He said it's the most widespread drought in the last 30 years, and it may cost about 1.7 billion US. He said our latest advice is that somewhere between $1 and $2 billion will be knocked off our national income, and every week that goes by, the prospect of it being 2 billion instead of 1 billion grows. There were 5 big explosions at a bus park in northern Nigeria's main city of Kano this morning, killed 25 people. This is in an area where the rebel group Boko Haram is waging an insurgency against the government. There was also an incident in India where a packed bus traveling from the beach resort area of Goa to Mumbai plunged off a highway through a guardrail, fell off a bridge, and killed at least 37 people. The accident occurred about 125 miles south of Mumbai. And there was also an explosion last night at a military facility in Nevada. Apparently it's a military ammunition storage facility called the Hawthorne Army Depot. It's a 147,000-acre site. There was a Marine training exercise in progress. A number of deaths have been reported, but no official confirmation yet. Meanwhile, in the United States, a severe front of thunderstorms went through the southeastern part of the country earlier today. 130,000 homes and businesses are still without power in Alabama and Georgia. Most of the outages are in Alabama, about 60,000. They're in the Birmingham area. If history is any judge, the United States government is going to be paying for the Iraq and Afghanistan wars for the next century. According to the Associated Press, at the 10-year anniversary of the start of the Iraq War, more than $40 billion a year is going to compensate veterans and survivors from the Spanish-American War of 1898, the Civil War of 1865, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the 2 Iraq campaigns, and the Afghan conflict. And these costs are rising rapidly. This is money paid out in compensation claims as well as claims to survivors. So far, the wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, and the first Persian Gulf conflict are costing about $12 billion a year. The Vietnam conflict is now costing about $22 billion a year. World War II is now up to about, let's just double check this, World War II is running at about $3 billion a year. Korean War costs are coming in at about $2 billion a year. World War I costs are coming in at $1.1 billion a year. The Spanish-American War, there are 10 living recipients of that war. They're getting about $50,000 each a year. And there are still 3 survivors of apparently soldiers who fought in the Civil War who are receiving modest benefits still at this time. Well, this is something else to consider before people go to war. It's not just the cost of the conflict, it's the payout that goes on afterwards. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news,